Hi, my name is Laurel Lambkin, and I'm playing for the Austin Heart Arise Party and the Mastermind. What do I do for my clients? Well, engagement through the arduous journey of all sexually based crimes and their fallout in their lives through an annual summit that will be held at different locations worldwide. 3 words. Oh, that was a difficult one. Only 3 words. Okay. All right. So my 3 words were healing, empowerment, and celebration. So I'm going to expound on those 3 words because 3 words, let's face it, just wasn't enough. So I'm going to have to give you a little bit more development on what I'm thinking about for those 3 items, right? So healing would be a restoration of what is lost in the fire for these women. 1 in 2 women worldwide have been affected or will be affected by a sexually based crime at some point in their entire lives. Now, their lifespan, to think about this, okay, begins at infancy because they are children, babies, that are sexually assaulted and experience, unfortunately, sexually based crimes. Those children have trauma from infancy, childhood, the formative years, pre-adolescence, adolescence, young adulthood, adulthood, even into their elderly years, because there is elderly abuse. So we're talking about that full range of healing and resources and strategies for a lifetime. Empowerment. Empowerment is for an ignition back to life, passion, activism, because you need to find some kind of channel outlet for the kind of nucleic anger that no one understands but a survivor. So we need to channel that anger into action and help them figure out exactly what they want to do to engage with the world again, to help other survivors, to help young women, children, before their lives are adversely affected by these things. Then we want to make sure that we celebrate deeply and authentically through connections with other survivors and their global community of women. I mean, it's amazing when women come together and truly connect. All the foolishness ends and amazing catalytic things occur. So those are the 3 words. That's what I do with my clients. Now, let's get to the why of it all. Why pick someone with this kind of subject where everybody wants to go like, oh, I'm going to be over here and I don't want to talk about that because it's just something that we don't talk about and it's so stigmatized. Well, you know what? It's time to talk about it because it's a pandemic. I sat next to an FBI agent last year at Sexual Assault Week, and I attended between 95 to maybe about 98% of all of the activities for Sexual Assault Week. What I came to realize was that these individuals who put on all of these events were not survivors themselves. These were individuals who were associated with the prosecutor's office, with different nonprofit organizations supposedly aiming to help women, who they always categorize as victims, very disempowering. So I spoke with many survivors last year, many, at all of the events that I attended. And they let me know just how furious they were about the fact that it really, this whole Sexual Assault Week that they do every single year, doesn't really involve them. It's really not about them. First of all, there are very few attendees who are survivors. The luncheon that I went to that had over 200 people only had 3 survivors in attendance. I was one of them. The 2 keynote speakers were the other 2 individuals. What? Okay, that tells you something. The rest of the people in the room were FBI, police officers, the prosecutor's office, and they were all celebrating themselves and the fact that they did such a fabulous job. Okay, well, where are the survivors? When did you experience sexual assault? Any kind of sexual assault. Well, let's go down the list. It's a pandemic. It affects 1 in 2 women worldwide. We have 8.8 billion people on the planet right now. 8.8 billion people. The vast majority of the people majority are women. So we're talking 1 in 2 women during the course of their life. We discussed it starts at infancy all the way to when they're older. Okay, so the elderly are also affected. So that's the range, the lifespan range. Then let's talk about the types of crimes, okay, that most people don't even realize fall under this huge umbrella. We have rape, sexual assault, indecent exposure, forced prostitution, human trafficking, molestation, pedophilia, incest, child sexual abuse, separate from incest, because incest is if the parent does it, okay? Child sexual abuse is some other person. It includes forcible viewing of pornographic material by a minor, sodomy, marital rape, drug-facilitated sexual assault, military sexual trauma, prisoner rape, sexual abuse of people with disabilities, separate category, elder abuse, separate category, gang rape, separate category, sexual exploitation by professionals, such as coaches, teachers, doctors, dentists, etc. So that's the range. Is that an all-inclusive list? Actually, it's not. This is just some of the main categories. They can be broken down into further subcategories. So 1 in 2 women worldwide, we're talking somewhere in the range of 2.5 billion to 4.4 billion women affected at some point in their lives. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to deal with it. Nobody wants to have any kind of viable solution. Well, I am of the opinion that every raindrop raises the sea. Everything that we can do to aggressively address this pandemic, because let's face it, if this was any other issue in the world that was a pandemic affecting between 2.5 to 4.4 billion people or more, every government, every organization, every institute, every private citizen with disposable income will be trying to address the problem. We're not addressing the problem. We're addressing some of the fallout at times, and it's also intergenerational. So it's multiplying exponentially with each generation. Despite opportunities, despite private investment, despite the changing of laws. So really, where does this true solution lie? With the survivors. Because we know what caused it. We know what we need to do to survive it. We know what we can do to fix it. So we're going to tap into all of that beautiful, incredible knowledge, wisdom, anger, and use it as a conduit for social change, for an explosion of thoughts and ideas towards a number of viable solutions worldwide, regardless of who it affects. Because let's face it, it affects women regardless of where they're from, their religion, their sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. it affects women